Last year in Washington and in subsequent publications that the Academy sends out to all of you, we launched Family Medicine for America's Health and the Health is Primary campaign. This year, we wanted to provide you on this last session an update from what's happened since then, and who better to provide that update than T.R. Reid, our friend and colleague T.R. Reid. Tom lives here in Denver, so it's easy for him to get here. Hope you have read his book, The Healing of America. It's a great read, and I urge you to take advantage of it. Noted author and journalist. So I hope that you will give a strong welcome to our friend and colleague, Tom Reid.
Hi, everybody. As a proud Coloradan, I just want to say welcome to our beautiful state. You've been here for a week. You can see what we've got going for us. As you know, we're the highest state in the country in more ways than one. But Colorado is also a state that clearly recognizes the power of primary care to improve health outcomes and reduce health spending, and it's doing that all over the country. And because Coloradans realize this, we're very proud that one of our own family docs, Jeff Kame, became the national president of AAFP. Jeff told me he now has to wear a tag that says past president. He said that means has been, but we don't think that in Colorado. And a talk about a commitment to primary care this morning, the dean of our newest medical school, Dr. Tom Todd, told us that at his medical school, any faculty member who's heard disparaging primary care to the students is fired. Now there is a commitment to. But for the past year, I've been looking at healthcare in other parts of the country as part of, as Doug said, our program Family Medicine for America's Health. That's a new organization, was set up by AAFP and 7 other family medicine organizations and headed by Dr. Glenn Stream, your former president. And its mission is to demonstrate to Americans, patients, payers, employers, insurers, the many ways that primary care can improve the health of our country and save money at the same time. We had this campaign called Health is Primary. It was run by 3 brilliant women, Ann Saybold, Kirsten Thistle, and Sarah Thomas, in which we went around the country holding symposia and panel discussions with primary care doctors. And what we heard was really terrific. We met a family doctor in Chicago who said, "I haven't seen a patient in my office in 20 years. That was Dr. Thomas Cornwell, and he decided that it was so hard for his elderly patients to get to the office that he now goes to them. He goes to 5 or 6 patients a day, and they never have to get downtown to Chicago to his office. We constantly heard about primary care doctors who work with the patient, not on the patient, as some of them said to us. They feel that their job is a collaboration between doctor and patient, which I think is quite different from specialty medicine. In Cherryville, North Carolina, or I think there they call it Cherville. In Cherville, North Carolina, Dr. Thomas White told us that among his patients were the firefighters in the local fire department, and they taught him an important lesson. Firefighters have this rule that you never go alone into a burning building. You always have 2 people go in, so if one of them gets in trouble, the other can help them out. So the rule is 2 in and 2 out. And Dr. White told us he decided that was a really good rule for his medical practice. He and the patient, no matter what the issue, would go 2 in and 2 out, and he followed that line of collaboration. We heard that kind of thing everywhere. In Chicago, we met an elegant woman. I loved her, Dr. Javette Orgain, family doctor for many years, and as her patients got older, it occurred to her that the normal treatments and the drugs she could provide were not really helping them to enter the last pathway of life with dignity. So she got into hospice care and now spends more than half her time doing that because she thought that was the the logical extension of her work as a primary care doctor over the decades. We saw really all sorts of new models, at least new to me, maybe not new to you, for delivery and payment. Carol Heyman in Seattle and Kurt Flanagan in Longmont, Colorado, told us about DPC. Do you know DPC? That was a new, I can't keep up with the acronyms in medicine in any case. That's direct primary care. And basically what happens is the patient signs up and pays in advance for treatment and then gets all the medical care she needs for the next month or year based on that payment. And if you think about it, it gives both parties to the transaction an incentive to keep her healthy because the doctor's going to get paid anyway. He'd rather have her be healthy and home than in the office, and she doesn't want to be in the doctor's office either. So I found that to be a really intriguing new approach, and it seems to be spreading around the country. We heard over and over that primary care is really the most important and probably the only solution to a fundamental problem in American medicine, which is the shortage of doctors in rural America. There are large tracts of our country where it's very difficult to find a doctor. There just aren't many. I visited a family doctor in Wheatland, Wyoming. This is the eastern edge of Wyoming, was lots of wheat and not many people. And he was the only physician for 3 counties. And I was having dinner with him in Wheatland, and he was kind of in a hurry at dinner. And I said, well, what's up? And he said, well, there's something very important I've got to go to tonight. Well, what is it? He said, oh, it's very important in this part of the world. Tonight is the basketball game between Wheatland High and Chugwater High. They're 60 miles apart, but in that region, they're rivals. And so I said to him, well, fine, I'll come to the basketball game with you, why not? So we were shuffling into this high school gym in Wheatland, Wyoming, and I said to the doctor, by the way, which team are we cheering for? And he said, you know, I don't care. I delivered every player and every cheerleader on both sides. And hearing these stories I just want to tell you one more. In Rayford, North Carolina, we met another rural doctor, Dr. Karen Smith. I think she's the only physician in the whole county. And she couldn't find an EMR system small enough to fit her one-woman practice, so she built her own. She needed one, so she did her own. That's primary care at work in rural America. I just tip my hat to all that. And hearing all this reminded me of something I learned. You know, I went around the world studying healthcare systems in other countries. I wrote a book about it. Makes great Christmas giving, I might point out. And what I heard from health ministers, from economists, from doctors, all the health ministers in the other countries like us, rich democracies, they all feel that the correct ratio of primary care docs to specialists is about 2 to 1. 2 primary care doctors for every specialist, or maybe 60-40. And of course, the United States is completely upside down on that ratio. We've got this completely wrong by international standards, and you know what? That is one of the major reasons why the United States pays far more for health care and gets much less than all the other countries, because they've figured out the right place to focus their attention, to put more attention on primary care. I think what we've done with our Health is Primary campaign, and it's going on for 2 more years around the country. I hope we come to your town. I think what we've done is shown Americans that we do have this ratio upside down, and that if we put more focus on primary care, if we could convince more of our medical students to go into primary care, well, then we too would get what these other countries have gotten, a very high quality of care at a reasonable cost. I think we've shown that because what we've demonstrated around the country is health is primary. Thank you.
Give it up for Tom Reid.